6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe, assisted by Nilusha Jayamana and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. A special program will be implemented to identify and promote investment opportunities. 8,000 Sri Lankan workers leaving for foreign employment will be given the Pfizer vaccine. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says the weak period of Sri Lanka Freedom Party has ended. A proposal made to appoint a special parliamentary committee in connection with the sinking of the Express Pearl ship. Psychologists warn of stress and pressure on children amid the pandemic. In news from overseas, anger as COVID ravaged Malaysia lifts pandemic measures. Sports, it's Tokyo Olympics, Simone Biles out of individual all-round final. Local news in detail. An integrated methodology has been prepared to promote investment opportunities which have been noted as national priority sectors. It will create the background to implement projects related to fisheries and medicine fields where there are more investment opportunities as well as in other fields. Publicity machinery will be prepared to inform local and foreign investors on identified sectors. A special discussion on preparing the process took place today at the Finance Ministry under the patronage of Minister Basil Rajapaksa. The Finance Ministry said that discussions also took place on preparing an inter-coordinating program among relevant state institutions for investors to obtain their services efficiently and to provide facilities to them. Vaccination of workers leaving for foreign employment registered at the Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau commenced today at the Narahinpita Army Hospital. Workers in the Western Province who have been registered at the Bureau with completed documents have been vaccinated. Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva said that they will be given Pfizer vaccine since that vaccine is recognized by the countries for which Sri Lankan workers go for employment. An agreement in this regard has been reached during a discussion held recently with the Health Minister Pavitra Waniarachi. Vaccines can be received by registering in www.slbfe.lk website. Plans have been made to inoculate 8,000 workers. Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says that the weak period of Sri Lanka Freedom Party has ended and now it's time to become stronger. He mentioned this during a media briefing today at the Environment Ministry to inform about future activities of the party. He said that a proper organisation structure has been prepared island-wide and the party is capable of achieving a major victory at a future election. Former Prime Minister MP Ranil Wickremesinghe has presented a motion to appoint a special parliamentary committee in connection with the damage caused due to the sinking of Express Pearl ship. The aim is to make recommendations by examining damage to the local ocean and its life, persons who lost their livelihood, and the impact on the national economy with the sinking of the ship. The proposal has been submitted to the Parliament agenda and it is scheduled to be presented in Parliament in a future date. Clinical psychologist Tina Solomon says that children suffer from stress and mental pressure due to the COVID pandemic. She pointed out that stress has affected children as well as the youth. Children spend more time on computer screens due to online studies. She said that children as well as parents should find time to rest along with education by maintaining a daily schedule. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. National Water Supply and Drainage Board says that water supply to Benthara, Alutgama, Darga Town and Kaluamodara will be interrupted for 12 hours from 8 a.m. tomorrow. The Water Board said that the interruption is due to essential development work carried out at the Alutgama, Matugama, Agalavatta Integrated Water Supply Project. Local supermarket network has expressed its support to the process of banning non-degradable lunch sheets. The government has decided to ban lunch sheets from the 1st of next month. Accordingly, production, distribution and selling of non-degradable lunch sheets are prohibited. It has been found that 10.5 million lunch sheets are added annually to the environment. The Ministry of Environment said that only less than 1% of lunch sheets is recycled. The body of the girl who died with burn injuries at MP Rishad Badruddin's house is expected to be exhumed within the next 2 days. Although it has been decided to exhume the body today, the relevant judiciary board has decided to postpone it. A group of persons at the house of the intermediary who handed over the girl to Mr. Badruddin's house has also been questioned. Chief Inspector Aruni Boghavatta conducts the investigations. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In the main news story, the Ministry of Health says another 1,499 patients who had been infected with COVID-19 have been discharged today after recovering from the virus. This brings the coronavirus recoveries in the country to 271,855. Sri Lanka has confirmed 299,892 cases of COVID-19 so far, while 23,842 infected patients are currently under medical care. Meanwhile, 48 COVID-19 related deaths have been reported during the past 24 hours. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Police have provided a telephone number for the general public to report information regarding any activities related to child labour in Colombo city or suburbs. Police spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana said a special operation was initiated yesterday in the Colombo city and suburbs in the Western Province to nab offenders. He said that if the public have any information in respect of child labour, they are requested to provide such information to the Colombo Emergency Centre via its telephone number 0112 433 333. That came to you in our segment Watchlight, and on to a bulletin of world news. In the headlines, anger as COVID ravaged Malaysia lifts pandemic measures. Scientists say China is building a nuclear missile storage tower field. Ex-military chiefs say let more Afghan interpreters resettle in the UK. World news in detail. The Malaysian government has been asked why it revoked emergency COVID regulations as cases continue to spike. Malaysia has reported more than 1 million cases and 8,000 deaths so far, but experts warn the real numbers are much higher as testing rates are low. Hospitals are crowded and overwhelmed. Recent images showed patients sitting on chairs and sharing oxygen cylinders. The country is also currently under a state of emergency, which will end on August 1st and will not be extended. US scientists say China is building a nuclear missile silo field in the west of the country. Satellite images from Xinjiang province suggest the site could house about 110 silos when it is finished, says the report from the Federation of American Scientists. US defense officials have expressed concern about China's nuclear buildup. It is the second new silo field reported to be under construction in western China in the last 2 months. Dozens of former military commanders have called on the government to allow more Afghans who worked for British forces to resettle in the UK. Ministers have recently expanded the UK's relocation scheme for Afghans. But in a letter to the PM, the group said they were gravely concerned about hundreds of interpreters who have had their applications rejected. The MOD said it had already supported more than 2,200 former Afghan staff and their families to resettle in the UK. Back to the headlines. Anger as COVID ravaged Malaysia lifts pandemic measures. Scientists say China is building a nuclear missile storage tower field. Ex-military chiefs say let more Afghan interpreters resettle in the UK. That ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin pellets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In development news, expression of interest has been called to be a tenant at the Sri Lanka Institute of Biotechnology Innovation Park to develop and manufacture high-tech biotech products for export and local markets. Sri Lanka Institute of Biotechnology was incorporated under the Ministry of Technology and State Ministry of Digital Technology and Entrepreneur Development with the objective of promoting biotech industry in Sri Lanka and to support the development of biotech industries. That was development news.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin pellets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports news, American gymnast and four-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles has withdrawn from Thursday's individual all-round final in Tokyo. Biles, the most successful U.S. gymnast of all time, said she had to focus on her mental health after pulling out of the women's team final on Tuesday. The head of the U.S. Olympic team and fellow athletes praised Biles' decision to prioritize her mental well-being. The 24-year-old has reached all 5 individual finals in Tokyo. Japan staged a thrilling final innings comeback to beat the Dominican Republic 4-3 in their Olympic baseball opener at the Fukushima Azuma Stadium. The hosts are ranked world number 1 in baseball and have high hopes of a gold medal on the sport's return to the Games for the first time since 2008. Great Britain's roller coaster sevens Olympic campaign ended without a medal after a 17-12 defeat by a fired-up Argentina in the bronze final in Tokyo. Great Britain's central contract ended in August as the Rugby Football Union cut costs amid a COVID funding squeeze. Meanwhile, Great Britain's men secured a gold in the Olympic pool with a dominant victory in the 4x200-meter freestyle relay in Tokyo. The quartet of 200-meter champion Tom Dean, silver medalist Duncan Scott, James Guy and Matthew Richards came within 0.03 seconds of the world record in a stunning performance. The USA's men's basketball team bounced back from their shock opening game defeat with a comfortable 120-66 victory over Iran. The Americans saw their 25-game Olympic winning streak ended by France on Sunday, but never looked in danger of suffering another. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
People's Bank has been selected among the best 1,000 banks in the world for the 4th time. People's Bank has been selected under Tier 1 Capital Group according to bank rankings of UK's Financial Times magazine. Chairman of the People's Bank, Sujiva Rajapaksa, said that the bank is committed to provide an excellent service to the customers. That came to you in Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
In economic news, according to the President's Media Division, Ceylon Chamber of Commerce has assured President Gotabaya Rajapaksa that it is eager to promote a number of sectors including exports and tourism as soon as the country returns to normalcy with its vaccination drive. The President has implemented the policies listed in the Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor National Policy Framework amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The CCC had pointed out that it can take advantage of this and contribute to the rapid development of the economy. That came to you in Economic News.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
In the weather report, the Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the Sabarakamu province and in the Nuwara district. A few showers will occur in the western and northwestern provinces and in the Galle, Matra, Kandy and Matale districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Ua province and in Ampara and Badiklo district in the evening or at night. Fairly strong winds up to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slope of Central Hills, North Central and Northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota district. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. A special program will be implemented to identify and promote investment opportunities. 8,000 Sri Lankan workers leaving for foreign employment will be given the Pfizer vaccine. Minister Mahinda Amarewira says the weak period of Sri Lanka Freedom Party has ended. A proposal made to appoint a special parliamentary committee in connection with the sinking of the Express Pearl ship. Psychologists warn of stress and pressure on children amid the pandemic. News from overseas, anger as COVID-ravaged Malaysia lifts pandemic measures. Sports, Tokyo Olympics, Simone Biles out of individual all-round final. And with that, we end this news broadcast.